Today on the free lunch, I'm joined by Manuel Zamudio. Manuel is the CEO of Krispy Kreme Spain, and we're recording this conversation live on location in their brand new flagship store in Madrid. It's a space filled with delicious smells and the energy of a brand, whilst new to Spain, that has survived and thrived since 1937, making it actually older than McDonald's. Manuel's path is one of relentless curiosity. He's a mechanical and industrial engineer by training who found his true calling in the business school of Procter & Gamble. He eventually transitioned into the high-velocity, high-stakes world of the food industry, moving from a corporate executive at KFC to becoming a franchisee with 13 restaurants and a team of over 300 people. In this conversation, we explore what it feels like to lead when the walls are closing in, the brutal reality of opening new restaurants just 2 months before the pandemic, the resilience required to survive the Dana storms in Valencia, and the grit needed to navigate the energy crisis that saw electricity bills quadruple overnight. Manuel is a man who understands that a brand is a fire you must constantly feed with logs to keep it burning. He brings a unique perspective on how to protect a legacy while innovating for the future. His success is built on a great product, a strong team, a rock-solid culture, and a powerful brand. This is a conversation about the mechanics of scaling, the philosophy of the high-performance team, and the quiet strength it takes to keep going when things get really hard. Here's my conversation with Manuel Zamudio. Well, Manuel, welcome to the free lunch.
Thank you.
This is a very, very exciting day, not just obviously for you to be on the free lunch, but for us, because not only is this an edition of the free lunch, but this is one of our first genuine outside broadcasts.
Look at that.
If you can hear some background noise, it's because we are live from Krispy Kreme in Parque Sur in Madrid, which is, I think, fair to say, like the sort of the first opening, your kind of retail flagship, if you like, for Krispy Kreme in Spain. So Manuel Zamudio, CEO of Krispy Kreme Spain, somebody I've known for a few years, Mexican by birth, but lived in Spain since 2011.
Mexican by nationality, but Ecuadorian by birth.
Wow, okay. See, I'm learning stuff already. Fantastic. So here we are sitting in Krispy Kreme in Spain, in Madrid. Tell us a bit about how you got here.
Oh, that's been a journey. It's been quite a journey. No, well, thank you very much for the invite. And it's an honor and a privilege to host the first out-of-home free lunch. It's a real privilege to see the evolution of free lunch. Next time we should have it.
We're looking forward to the free Krispy Kreme.
Yes, and next time we'll have it with a free lunch and let's see who pays at the end. But I really appreciate the invitation. And yeah, so it's been a journey for me to be here as a cusp of different paths that have taken me from my early years in my career all the way to my last stages on the business. And I can say this project here will take everything that I have right now to give. I think it's going to be a challenge on myself, on my leadership, on my vision, on my strengths and weaknesses, to really take everything that I've learned in two really big houses, corporate houses. One was P&G. That's where I started my corporate career. And the other one was Yum Brands.
Yeah.
The home of KFC, Taco Bell, and Pizza Hut.
And Yum is what brought you to Spain, right?
That's what brought me.
You were the regional general manager for
Spain and Portugal.
That's for KFC.
Exactly. So, but I started in KFC, Pizza Hut actually, 25 years ago. I started my career I actually studied mechanical and industrial engineering, which was kind of my path into my job, because I was seeing myself as an engineer working in a manufacturing plant. I did an exchange program in Detroit, as a mechanical engineer, that's where you should be. And of course, I did a summer internship in Ford, in a plant as a mechanical engineer, industrial engineer, evaluating quality control processes and things like that. When I went back to finish my university in Mexico City, I got an invitation to become a trainee at P&G.
Okay.
And then a good question came by a good friend that he was in the hiring team. And he told me, Manuel, do you want to do a technical career or do you want to go into a management career?
Right.
I was 21, 22 years old. Like, whoa,
I just want to get paid.
that's a big question. My father was a big inspiration and lead into a lot of things. And he had his own little business. And I always thought about following his path of being an entrepreneur or doing the general management path. So I told my friend, you know what? I want to do the general management path. And then he told me, oh, then you need to apply for marketing.
Right.
Like, what's that? Yeah, I know you. You have the leadership style, your profile, experience. We got the numbers because just to get started in P&G, you needed to pass the math test just to get through. And he told me, you're an engineer, that shouldn't be an issue. Go into marketing. And it's like, what's that? I have my first interview, I remember the guy asking me, okay, please, Manuel, estimate the market size of diapers in Mexico. I was like, what the hell is a market size?
What the hell is a diaper?
I didn't know, but I had no idea how to go about it. But he threw me questions so to understand how I was processing the numbers and doing assumptions and figuring out things that I didn't know. And that was kind of one of the first questions on assessing if you have the curiosity and the thinking through process and I got in.
Yeah.
I got in. I did my final year of university while being a trainee in P&G in marketing. I said, if I don't like it, I can still go to a plant job and start my career. And I loved it. I did my career there. I would call that my business school.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people consider. 5 years.
5 years.
I did 5 years. I went all through the first stages of management in P&G, from trainee, junior assistant manager, senior assistant manager, brand manager, at the end, trade marketing manager for a portfolio
Did
brands.
you work on any brands that we'd recognize?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I worked for Pantene, Head and Shoulders, or H&S as it's called, H&S as it's called in Spain. I worked for...
Wherever you had...
I know, but it's prevention. This prevents it. I worked Ariel, which is a big one here in Spain as well. Some local brands in Mexico, some other... Well, and that's one of the beautiful things about P&G, and I really appreciate that school, which is at the beginning of your career, they give you something very, very small.
Right.
But they tell you, you are the owner of that.
Right.
So at that time, my first brand was Metamucil, a laxative. No one else in the entire company cared about that brand except me, the technical developer, and the few hours of the production machine that required to be operating. And that was it. And they tell you, I was 22 years old, and they tell you, you are the general manager of Metamucil in Spain.
Yeah.
Go for it. And you take it as your own. That's your brand.
That's really interesting you mentioned that, because in another one of our podcasts recently, I was talking to my old boss at Saatchi & Saatchi.
Yeah,
and we were talking about how when I joined Saatchi & Saatchi, it's slightly different, but the amount of responsibility was put on you as a junior.
Yeah.
And you had to perform in front of your bosses. You had to know what you were talking about. All of this kind of turning up and let the boss do the talking.
Yeah.
That was not the way.
Oh, definitely. So you were literally the last stage of the food chain.
Right.
But you felt that you were the owner of something.
Yeah.
And they gave you the ownership, and they gave you the accountability, and they gave you the results. If you did a good job, you will get to another bigger project. If you get to the result, then you get another bigger brand. Then you get and that path took me from the smallest brand in the company to be brand manager of the second largest portfolio of detergents, which was a huge category in Spain at that time. So it took me 5 years to get there. So that ownership in my career, and really P&G is a phenomenal business school because it takes you into thinking, leadership. Also, the leadership in P&G was very well thought through because it has this school of promotion from within. They almost never hire someone level 2 level. Everybody goes from entry level. That means that the future CEOs of a company, the future general managers of all the divisions, the future presidents of all the divisions, they all come from the same job that you have.
They're already working there.
And they all started, and we were very engaged in recruitment as well. Even I was working in marketing, I had to be in charge of the recruitment of my university campus.
Right.
So I was already looking at who could be the next general manager when he's 21, 22.
Succession was something that had been thought about a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it was ingrained in all levels of the company. So that was one of the things that I learned so much, and all the sorts of aspects of business that PFG teaches you, especially when you work in a function like marketing or finance for that matter as well. But definitely marketing was my business school. Then I got an opportunity to change industry. I got a call to go to Pizza Hut, Mexico, which was a very interesting shift for me because it was to say, okay, I'm going to go from FMCG, packaged goods, into services.
Right.
And at that time was to relaunch the brand Pizza Hut in Mexico and engage with a relaunch of the brand, delivery. And so it was a very different thing, which was talking about operations, talking about service levels, service commitments, things like that, which was very different from a packaged good that has a label, has a promise, has an advertising, reason to believe, off you go. No, this was working with operations because you're known for a service.
But also probably the first time you had to deal with people, right? Because you
with more people,
employed people to sell
exactly.
Pizza Hut.
Your product was the service that your employees offer. And definitely that was a big change that I was very intrigued and interested in getting by and getting that into my portfolio. And one thing that in the industry it's commonly talked about is that fast food is like FMCG on steroids. Because pretty much all the things that you work on in terms of process and discipline, on consumer understanding, consumer insights, consumer behavior, everything needs to be taken into account in the fast food.
Right.
But just massive speed.
Yeah. It's got to happen straight away.
I remember the first interview, they asked me, how would you feel that in 1 week, you know, if your launch that you've been working for 6 months is going to fly or it's going to flunk?
Right.
Like, man, this is great.
But also your soap powder can sit on the shelf for a while, but you can't have your pizza on the shelf for more than a few hours.
That's it. It's frenetic.
Yeah.
Some people get it, some people don't. Some people jump into the train while the train is running, and they need to jump, and they will have fun.
Yeah.
Some other people that come from the industry try to stop the train, and that's very messy because the train doesn't stop. Some people wait for the train to stop. The train just went through. They never jumped into it.
So I'm guessing that you jumped on the train. And
I jumped in the train, and I loved it, and I did that for several years. And then I did Pizza Hut, then I went to KFC, which was a much bigger brand in Mexico. And then I got an opportunity to go to the UK. I worked there for 3 years. And after this career coaching, what do you want to do, Manuel? What's your next step? I went back to I started mechanical and industrial engineering. I would like to get into operations, like getting the nitty gritty of the business. And it was a good career move to broaden your scope. And that's when they offered me to come to Spain.
Right.
To say, hey, there's a small business. KFC at that time was quite small, over 60 restaurants. And they told me there's a GM opportunity there to go and run the business. From there...
that's when you did something which I suspect not many people do, which is you took the leap from the franchisor to the franchisee.
No, that was before. That's how I came here to Spain
Ah, okay.
in the corporate side still.
Okay.
But that gave me now my first GM experience.
Right. Okay.
That's where I jumped from marketing to general management, mainly overseeing operations of company-owned restaurants
Right.
and development and dealing with franchisees
Right.
as a franchisor.
Right.
So it just brought me a big bunch of new skills and things that I had to manage and dealing
But
legally
eventually that
aspects.
led you
Which
to
6 years afterwards,
right.
the opportunity came of saying, Manuel, we need to sell the company-owned restaurants,
Right.
find a buyer. And so I said,
And does that happen very often? I wouldn't think that happens very often.
there are cycles.
Right.
The fast food food service industry as a whole has cycles of fully franchisee,
Yeah.
then company owned,
Yeah.
then they go again to depends on the cash flow which company
You go from like one side of the mountain to the other. I mean, I'd love to know, how did that feel? That your first day as the owner of a series of KFCs, after being the guy sitting in the middle of all that, kind of like.
It was very tricky. I won't lie to you. It was a tricky thing because at the end we managed to acquire only one restaurant.
Okay.
So after running a several restaurants, managing franchisees, having a leadership team and everything, at the end, the negotiation with KFC came that we bought one restaurant with rights to open 15 restaurants across Spain.
Okay.
So it was to start from scratch mostly.
Right. So it really was like starting a new business.
Like that. Of course, with one restaurant that didn't allow us to have a lot of staff,
Right.
but it was good because it helped me to now get into one restaurant, understanding now the details of the operation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and from there start opening restaurants. And we managed to open in the course of the 7 years that we were franchisees, from 1 to 13 restaurants. So it got me into a good stage of running one restaurant. Now 2 or 3 restaurants, being kind of a area coach, knowing what needs to be done, how it's done. Then going into 10, 12 restaurants, now having area coaches to supervise the restaurants, which is something that I did for a short period of time, but I knew what is required and understanding what's happening. But the other side of the challenge was, how do I talk to KFC as a franchisee
Right.
when half of the leadership team reported to me before?
Yes. That must have been very challenging.
It was.
And did you find that some of them behave in a way you didn't expect?
In both ways.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that was definitely one of the challenges. I love the people there, and I made very good friends with, I would say, almost all of them. I still get along with them, have really good relationships. Just a couple of months ago, I was sharing stage with who was my marketing the manager.
Right.
She was running the brand, and I was working with her, so we get along really well. One of the things that was challenging at that time was that while I was general manager for 6 years, when I left, Yum had 4 different general managers in 5 years. So that actually proved to be more challenging.
You need
The lack of country. Well, I wouldn't pride myself of any of that, but is it lack of continuity in terms of leadership? Although the management team was remaining mostly the same, the tough conversations, the meaningful conversations, the conversations with the franchisor of, this is where you need to go, this is your path forward. Those challenging conversations, you had with one guy, and 6 months afterwards, you're having it with another guy.
But the other thing that just occurs to me listening to you is that perhaps if you were to hear, oh, somebody has 13 KFCs, so the job is to sell KFC in 13 stores, right? But you launched 12 of those yourself. So
Yes.
it's things like buying tables and choosing what floor to put and what's happening with the electricity and the machines, so you need to make it all work.
That's where going with a franchisee model
Yeah,
makes it much easier.
because they tell you a lot of things.
Exactly. It's a brand book. It's exactly as this one. We'll talk about what Krispy Kreme is and what this store means specifically. There's a team behind on the brand side. So on that aspect, actually was not that much of an issue.
Okay.
Because at the end, yes, you're leveraging the know-how of a brand that has been proven.
Yeah.
That's why people say, "Hey, I want to go into franchisee. I want to become a franchisee." What brand?
Yeah, choose very carefully.
Choose very carefully, because it needs to be a proven model.
Yeah.
Oh, they have 5 restaurants. It's a great model. I'm going to become a franchisee of 5 restaurants, of a brand that has only 5 restaurants. Like, no, that's not a proven model.
Right.
So definitely KFC gave me that security, which helped me to focus on how do you build the talent pool,
Right.
which was more about that. That was a bit, the challenge was actually more on the leadership side. Now, how do you choose the right people to recruit them, mostly in operations?
Yeah.
Most of the leadership in operations comes from
Because I'm guessing that you had quite a few people by the time you ended up with 13.
Oh, we were running a 300 people company,
Amazing.
which that in itself keeps you awake most of the nights.
As you know, I always say that every single person is like their own universe, and so you've got 300 little
300 little
right?
universes with their satellites around as well. Yes, that's so. One thing that I found very interesting, and I learned it from the KFC breadth of experience, and one of the key things that they do really well, especially in their mature markets, like in the UK, for example, or some of the biggest, largest, most sophisticated franchisees, is a very disciplined people development process.
Right.
Because at the end, it's people that sometimes this is their first job.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't have a lot of education.
Yeah.
But they have capability, or they have leadership, and they have hunger to grow.
But also, just in the same way that you bought into a proven product, those guys need to deliver a little piece of that. And so they need to really understand that they're part of that kind of machine, right? You can't have mavericks and people with their own ideas and people who want to wear different clothes when they come to work.
Exactly. and I had to face with a little bit of that, being a franchisor myself.
Right.
Because I had franchisees that had very creative ideas on how to tropicalize KFC in Sevilla.
Yeah.
Having a bull in the middle of the restaurant. A bull statue in the middle of the restaurant. Like, actually, approve this. Like, no, this doesn't go. But I had to do that in terms of protecting the brand. However, the challenges, as you rightly say, it's more about people management and people developing, and the challenges that comes with growth, going from 1 to 13 in 7 years.
Yeah,
it's a challenge on its own.
Although, and I haven't asked you whether it's okay to ask you about this, but in the middle of all that, COVID arrived, right?
Yes.
And not only did COVID arrive, but a little bit later, just when maybe you're recovering from COVID, people who aren't from Spain won't necessarily know what this is, but something called Dana arrived, which was the most horrific storm that wiped out whole sections of Valencia.
Yeah, well,
I believe wiped out one of your own KFC stores.
Yeah, when people say, what challenges have you had to endure? Definitely, well, I would add another one. After 3 years that we took the first restaurant, we just opened our 9th restaurant 2 months before COVID.
Right.
In January of 2020. We were in the middle of negotiating the final debt with banks and all that, and then the banks just shut down financing and everything in the middle of, we just opened. Like, that was a nightmare. It was horrible. It was really, really tough times. Then we forget that as we were releasing COVID, we were forgetting about it at the end of 2021. 2022, we started to see the light, getting the head out of the water. The Ukraine war came. Prices just skyrocketed, especially energy prices. I don't know if you recall.
Yeah. It's funny how one forgets these things.
How easily? Well, I don't.
For you probably won't, but it's like, as a sort of general consumer, we forget all these different things that have happened.
Man, you're talking about just have a very easy way to illustrate it.
Yeah.
Per restaurant, before that time, we were paying about 2,000 or 3,000 euros per month in electricity. At the peak of that summer, late summer of 2022, you could be paying 13,000.
Wow. Yeah. That eats into your margin.
Kills you. You try to catch up with pricing, but then consumer says like, whoa, no, my income is not increasing that much. So you start seeing the decline in transactions. So 2023, as we were coming out of a 2022, which was like, hey, we're recovering. Yeah, we increased prices and we covered some margin. Then the traffic, boom, went down horribly.
Yeah.
And everybody forgets about that because they don't see that issue. But all the restaurants and a lot of industries, we were feeling the pressure of that inflation crisis.
Has those electricity prices come down now?
They came down, but a lot of other internal costs.
They
never
slower and they went up, I'll bet.
rent just themselves rent. All the rents go up. They never go down.
Yeah.
They go up with the inflation, but they never come down.
Yeah.
So that was definitely something that caught us. And 2023, as we were in that process, we said, you know what? It's very risky to have only a business that is dependent on one brand.
Right.
So it was actually that crisis that told us, okay, we need to find other brands.
Okay.
And
if you don't mind me asking, and if you don't want to answer this because it's, I know you still have a lot of colleagues, but fried chicken from Kentucky, finger looking good, and Spain, is that a comfortable fit? Do you think that was Spain ready for?
Oh yes,
KFC.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
No, there was no issue with the category. The way that I arrived here, remember that I came here to Spain 2011.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, the crisis was massive.
Right.
There was a huge crisis. Like there were threats that Europe was going to take over the finances of the country. The country was going to go into bankruptcy.
Yeah, no, it was
the Men in Black arriving.
Tail end of the 2008
Exactly.
housing crisis,
which came late to Spain, and the tail was very long.
Yeah, indeed.
So 2012, everybody was talking about crisis.
Something else that everyone's forgotten about in Spain, how bad things were.
Oh yeah,
and how comparatively good things are now.
Yep. So I arrived here, and people were saying, "Man, why are you planning about expanding a brand when everybody's shutting down?" And like, I come from Mexico. There are crises every 6 years. So, that's normal for me. Nothing. I arrived to the UK in 2008, exactly in the middle of a huge crisis. I'm like, crisis? What's not to like what a crisis? So I went on and I said, this is the right moment because you need to go, of course, you need to go value aggressive.
Right.
People are very value sensitive. And it was more of a mentality because exactly to your point, people thought that, Spanish people, they like their food and the Mediterranean cuisine.
There's a very strong food culture.
Yes, but at that time there were already 600 Burger Kings and 400 McDonald's.
Okay.
And the same argument at that time was happening in France. French people on their French cuisine.
Right.
At that time, there were over 1,000 McDonald's. So they like fast food.
Yeah.
So fast food is universal to pretty much any market. And France is one of the most successful markets in McDonald's in the world.
Yeah.
And KFC was doing very well at that time in France. So actually I came here to say, open up the franchisees' minds that this is a brand that has the potential to do that. And actually one of the biggest proofs of that was actually the KFC that is right next to, behind us. A massive freestanding drive-through KFC that no one thought that it could work. But it's just proven to be one of the most successful KFCs in the country.
Yeah.
Because when you talk about the experience, yes, fast food, KFC, it's one good big player around that. And the brand has evolved dramatically around that, around since then. And now it's the third QSR brand in the country.
Wow.
It has surpassed Telepizza. Which is,
I did not know that. That's very interesting.
That's something that they just marked that. They have 300 restaurants now in Spain. So their brand has a lot of potential. It was more of a mentality of saying, yes, this brand can work in a very competitive market like Spain, where Burger King and McDonald's have done huge businesses. So,
Nevertheless, I slightly interrupted you. You were saying about your realization that there was a need for diversity
exactly.
and to diversify.
So for us, it was never an issue of is the brand the right concept. It was more of a challenge of the business model. That's what we said. You know what? There's a level of investment and sales that you get and all that. So I've never questioned the potential of the brand. Now, at that time, 22, we were already talking about it, but definitely 23 told us, we need to get into other brands.
Right.
So I started doing a due diligence of what was in the market. And we found a very good, nice brand that I've been experiencing as a customer, as a client since a long time in Valencia, which is a local brand. It's called Saona.
Yeah.
It's a Mediterranean-inspired brand, has mixture of international cuisine, but it's
excellent. And if you haven't tried it,
it's really good. It's really, really, really good. Go and try it. They're still quite small compared to the scale that it could be. It's a little bit around 70 restaurants around in Spain. It was founded in Valencia. That's where we knew it. And we saw the concept, we saw the business model, we saw that the franchising strategy that they want.
Okay.
Got to know the founder, fell in love with the concept, and we decided to open our first sauna in 24.
Okay.
Now we have 2 restaurants. But I remember when I stepped out of KFC as a general manager and became the franchisee 2017.
Yeah.
At that time, a friend that I have, but at that time he was the CEO of Krispy Kreme. And I had a conversation with him over the phone. The business model back then was not that developed to grow internationally or go to new markets. And for us, we were starting with 1 KFC. So we had our hands full. So it was not the right timing, but back in 22, we said, let's go back. And I found out that a couple more friends were working in Krispy Kreme in Mexico.
Okay.
And then phone call led to another one, led to another one, led to another one. And that led 3 years of conversations and negotiations until we finalized the deal in 2024 to become the brand, the representatives of the brand in Spain in a joint venture. Okay. So actually, this is a very different type of deal.
Okay.
Because in KFC, it's a franchisee.
Right.
All the risk is yours.
Yeah.
In Krispy Kreme, it's a joint venture where the brand has a minority share of the business, which reassures me a lot.
Yeah.
That we're in it together. There's skin in the
game.
game.
If I'm not wrong, opened really successfully in England, and then really successfully in France. Yes. So that must have also given you.
It's been a while already in the UK.
Has it?
So it's one of the largest markets in the world. So it's been a while. The business in the UK, it's very mature. It's challenges of a mature business. It's a very different. They have a lot of presence in from theaters to shops to retail shops, self-serving kiosks and things like that. So it is a very mature business that has its own challenges.
Yeah.
You got very mature businesses that are very successful, like the Mexican one. Mexican business is really big. Then you got the Australia, South Africa, Japan, Korea, really mature, very successful businesses around the world.
Very established.
But for us, the one that inspired us was France, as we say. France, they opened at the end of 2023.
Right.
Where we're in the middle of the negotiations. And it just blew the doors off. And it became massive. To say queues of people in France at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow.
Which
there was something.
You then went on to repeat here.
Exactly. So we said, you know what, if that happened in France, it could happen here as well. So that gives us confidence that we had in our hands a very powerful brand that people loved.
Amazing. Although here, if you're listening and you're in USA or in the UK, you probably think of Krispy Kreme donuts. But here in Spain, we're not allowed to say donut. are we?
Exactly.
How does that work?
Well, this is a very unique thing that happens here in the market. Well, is as you see, is the only logo in the world that doesn't have the word donuts underneath.
It's nice to be special.
It is very nice to be special, but it's more of a legal issue. But I don't mind. Actually, it's good. I think back again, a challenge. I see it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
Here, there's a very traditional legacy brand in the country. Back in the late 50s, early 60s, someone went to the US, saw the donuts. That was a huge business in the US.
That looks like a good idea.
Said, well, this is a good idea. Remember that time Spain was closed. There was no brands coming from outside. It was an isolated, it was an island on its own. And he came and registered the word donuts.
Right.
It's spelled like in Spanish, donut.
Yeah.
And
Move.
it's a smart move, yes. Good for him. A lot of people complain, and I can see debates online and litigations and legal fights and massive fights that have gone to the European courts. But people recognize here the word donut as that brand.
Yeah.
Has changed hands a couple times over the years. The business model has changed
There are a
dramatically.
lot of brands in Spain that's happened. Corona, Coronita is another one.
Yep. And at that time, the word donut, it became synonymous of this brand that was freshly delivered to all the bars, all the restaurants. It had a massive penetration in the country because it was the only brand that did that. And they would deliver these massive trays to the bars and to the restaurants and to shops everywhere. But the model itself, as it was not sustainable because the penetration was so expensive. The whole distribution was so expensive. And as they had to concentrate production and all that, it didn't work. So they evolved from fresh product to packaged product. So it's a huge business. Now it's owned by another Mexicans, some other Mexicans.
Seems you guys get everywhere.
We are putting our hands in some very fun business here in Spain. But it's Bimbo, which I know them from Mexico. It's one of the most successful bakery companies in the world. It's one of the largest ones in the world. So they bought that business a couple decades ago, more than a decade ago, from Panrico. They bought Panrico, and they made it they kept on keeping a good brand.
A massive differentiating factor of Krispy Kreme compared with many other competitors in that word beginning with D we won't mention is that your Krispy Kreme are absolutely fresh every day, right?
That's why we're here.
Behind me here is the theater.
Exactly. That's the thing that no one can compete with. That's the premise that brought me into this brand, into this market as well, is that you can promise that it's a fresh product. You can deliver a fresh product, and people can see it being made in front of your eyes.
And I think you can taste it too.
Absolutely. If you can't, then we have an issue.
No, but what I mean is that there is definitely a sense, and we've tried out your delivery service at home.
Yes.
And they don't taste the same the next day. You know, they taste absolutely amazing when you get them. And I'm not sure that's a bad thing, by the way. I don't think people should keep them in their fridges for 3 weeks. That's not the idea, right?
That's definitely not the idea. You can keep it for the next day, and we have a little trick that we're about.
Good.
It's still good. And the original, the glaciado original, the original glazed, actually we're about to launch in our packaging a little tag there that heat it for 8 seconds in the microwave. You can kind of bring it to life again.
Okay.
Will never be the same, but it's as close as it could get.
8 seconds in the microwave. That's a live
Not
tip
5
from the CEO of Krispy.
Not 5, not 10, 8. I tried it. So it will come in boxes. So
just take the package off before you put it in.
yes, that's a clever idea as well. But that's something that you have to taste that.
Right.
And that's why the strategy right now is to get people. We want to put an original glaze in the mouth of every Spaniard, at least to start there. every Madrid, people from Madrid.
Well, you started off pretty well because you put it in the mouth of like 300 or something on the very
Man, it
first
was
day.
massive. It was
Tell us about
crazy.
the launch.
Well, it was not just that. It was just before the preparation to get there.
Uh-huh.
So it was a phenomenal, since it's back to the point of leveraging validated models, a brand that it's already, you don't have to create something from scratch.
Okay.
My approach was launch by the book. Then we'll add a couple of pages to the book. So don't change what has worked in other countries, and then think where you can innovate on top of.
Right.
That becomes part of that launch book. So, because I've seen when you try to change things when you go about it, and you don't get the same result,
Right.
then you don't know why you don't perform as you expected. So we said, okay, launch with the things that that we know that work.
Build on a solid base.
And that comes with two, and these came with two very solid things. One was, it's around trial. So it was about getting the product in the mouth of people.
Yeah.
So we conducted the largest sampling in the history of the brand. We distributed across Madrid over 26,000 half dozens.
Wow.
When you multiply that among how many people got to try one.
It's good enough. 6 times 26,000 is quite a lot.
That's quite a lot. Exactly. So that was something that we said, okay, that proves to work. Let's do it. Now let's do it even bigger than what everybody else has done. So we had that. And then the other component of it was just create a lot of excitement around the opening.
Right.
So we did exactly what the brand suggested, which was a golden tickets. The first 12 will get a free box. The first 12 customers that they actually buy a dozen, they will get a free dozen per week for 1 year. That's a lot of them. But we got people standing in line since 20 hours before the opening.
But I'm almost more impressed with the people that knew they weren't going to get the free one.
Exactly.
And they still stayed the night.
Exactly. Well, that's exactly. Well, that was there were
In the streets.
There were three groups of people. So one was these 12. Then the next to the 100, which they will have one box per month for a year.
Yeah.
And then from the 100 to the 300, they will get one box per month for 6 months.
Okay.
Now, yes, what happens with the guy that had got the brand that had 301? That would have been
a bad night for him.
Well, the good thing was that some people got out of the queue.
Right.
So they lost their spot.
Yeah.
So we managed to get 24. We got the people that got the 320 that actually got it. So they were very pleased because they thought that they were not going to get anything.
Okay.
But the 321, they were already here at 4 o'clock in the morning, the day that we opened.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock in the morning, there were 300, 200 people
Quite a lot of
outside.
people literally slept on the street, right?
Oh, yeah. We had a massive queue here. People with tents, sleeping bags. And they had their parties. People came with their parents, with their grandparents, friends. They were having a blast outside here in the street. But it was very well organized because it's a brand standard of how the brand launches everywhere. And we kept saying, the people in Parque Sur, the Westfield managers and the security people, they're like, oh, there's never a question of whether it's going to be people sleeping over or not. It's for how many nights and how many.
Yeah.
So it was no more, in some countries it's more than one night. Some people say it's 2 nights. In this case the
Also,
version was 20 hours
it's a
before.
fantastic testament to the power of a brand. Because some of those people in that lineup probably had never tasted it. It's just
Oh, absolutely. Oh, we knew that,
and yet they'd heard about it. People knew about it. People had been to visit America. They told their friends. They'd seen it on Instagram. And that was enough to get them to come and stay the night in the street in October.
It was just crazy. It was a phenomenal experience to see. When we opened...
By the way, I came here on that day, a bit later. I will admit I didn't sleep the night.
No, no shame on that one, no worry.
And we had a box of 12, and we were walking back through the commercial center here amongst all the shops. And 3 different people came up to me, total strangers, and said, "Oh, where'd you get those? And how do I get some?" And it was really quite amazing.
The power of the brand is just phenomenal. So actually, to that point, those were the things that we did by the book, which was kind of a brand book to launch the brand.
Yeah.
Now, the things that we added to the book was, in this new world of social media influencers, the agency, the advertising agency that we work with, came with a very good idea of the volver buen rollo, el buen rollo, the good vibes.
Yeah. A little difficult to explain.
It's a little bit difficult to explain, but it's about good vibes, but it's not exactly the same. Works really well, which is good connection with people. So the idea was to give it back to all those consumers and influencers that has given us so much love in the past, that they have been in the brand in other countries,
Right.
and they have posted, commented, made comments, videos, things about they love Krispy Kreme. So we said, you know what? Let's bring them on board before anybody else.
Right.
Let's treat them well as they have treated us well. And we started engaging with some of the most famous influencers in the country. And we just called them, do you want to come and see the store before it was even finished?
All right.
We were working here. We were testing the machine. And you want to go and try it? Like, absolutely. They would jump like, oh, let me be for the first one. No, let me be the first one. No, let me be the first one. So we had to manage that because they wanted to come and do it for free.
Right.
Which these guys charge thousands of euros to publish something. But here, the fact that they wanted to be part of the launch of a brand like this, it was just phenomenal. That just added on itself and became viral. So
And it is exciting when you watch the theater in action. For those that haven't seen it, you must go to your Krispy Kreme, your nearest Krispy Kreme, and to see the product being made in front of your eyes, and that really does bring it home that what you're eating is completely fresh.
I'm sure we'll take a little bit of time to show that, but definitely it's, for me, back again to one of the things that I like about this brand, the converging of my experiences from operations, because it's not an easy operation. It's a complex operation that has to do with production, logistics, because at the end we're opening stores around this theater. The idea is to have between 10 and 15 stores around Madrid that needs to be delivered every day.
So it all gets run from here.
Everything gets distributed from here, short distances, every single day, to ensure that we have fresh product delivered every day. And then we will have shelves in retail, supermarkets, convenience stores, gas stations. At the end, we can go to a lot of, even hundreds of places from this theater. So it has to be run on a very smooth logistics machine. So that brings part of my industrial engineering understanding. Then you got the fast food service experience, speed, smiling, anticipating to the needs of a consumer, having standardized service levels, the profile of the people that are going to be attending. So everything that I learned from my KFC, Pizza Hut times. And then it's more of a retail brand. At the end, 90% of what we sell are boxes to go.
Right.
So we have coffee. We've got really good coffee. We're good at being organized sitting area. But most of the people take the box and eat somewhere else. So it's more of a retail type of experience, back to my P&G times.
Sure.
So the way of thinking about it is converging all that know-how of things that I did. This was not my initial plan 20 years ago, but I see this brand putting all those experiences together.
Right.
And it's been phenomenal just to see it live.
So that's brilliant. And the frame of the free lunch is essentially leadership. And I'd just like to talk a little bit about that aspect of the business. And kind of clearly you brought a tremendous amount of experience of leading groups of people and managing that for success. But in terms of this particular challenge, is there anything different that you needed to do, or kind of something that you've realized is essential for success in Krispy Kreme in Spain that maybe is unique?
Yes. One of the most challenging ones is we need to bring a team from scratch, pretty much. Not totally from scratch, because we did leverage some of the talent that we built on the KFC side of the business. Now that we're no longer running the KFCs, we found someone that was interested in getting scale into KFC. So few franchisees, we sold all our restaurants. We had the opportunity, we sold them last year, but we kept some talent, and my partners as well, my business partners, who is running now the whole IT platform. So we kept some key pieces of the organization, but most of the functions are totally new.
Yeah, no, I can see that, because a typical startup, that might be, you start off with 10 people, and you gradually go to 20, and then 30, and then 50, and then 200. But you had to go from just a very few of you to quite a few of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, this operation has a lot of operations people,
Well,
sales people.
to start just this theater, we had to hire 120 people,
Right.
just to manage the volumes that we were managing in October when we launched. It was just completely crazy, because the scale of the sales were just mind-blowing. Just to give you a perspective of what these queues meant, not only the opening day, for the entire month.
Right.
We were selling as much in the first month of operations here in one theater here in Parque Sur as much as the 13 KFCs that I had
Wow.
in 1 month.
That's pretty mind-boggling.
When I tell to my KFC colleagues, they still don't believe me.
That's a lot of Krispy Kreme.
That's a lot of Krispy Kremes. That's a lot of Krispy Kremes, absolutely. So you need a big team to do around. Now, was it like double what we expected? No, actually it was within the almost one-digit margin of exceeding what we expected. But we knew that it was going to be that big, so we were preparing for that. Of course, that honeymoon passed. Now we're opening stores around Madrid. We're now offering delivery, and so we're now building the base again in order to use the capacity that this production center has. So adjusting that machinery on the go and make it as efficient as possible, as quickly as possible, without losing
the engines of the airplane in flight.
Absolutely. It's not adjusting the engines, it's building the airplane on flight and adjusting it in the middle and try to find another destination as we go to the next city. So it's a challenge on its own. Now, very quickly, the plan is to get scale. So
what are you looking for? What's the big ambition?
The big ambition, I think I've been very vocal about it with the team, and I get great inspiration from the business in Mexico. The Mexican business has been there for 20 years. They have about 15 theaters like this one,
right?
Close to 300 shops, and close to 900 points of access with shelves, unattended shelves. So it's a huge business, and they've managed to do it in 20 years. So we say, okay, in Spain, can we do half of that, or do that in half the time? So we're saying, okay, can we achieve that in 10 years?
Okay.
So we need to achieve that half in 5 years. So just cutting down any steps needed. So we have a very clear vision of saying, well, we need to achieve 7 theaters by 2030.
Okay.
With 10 stores around it, and all the different shops keep self-attended, non-attended.
Well, it sounds so highly ambitious, but it also sounds to me like you're going to do it. When's the next theater opening?
So we're looking for a theater location, which is not easy because it's a sizable footprint. It has its complications of logistics. It's a factory on its own. You need logistics to take the product in and out. So we're looking at Barcelona.
Okay.
Definitely that should be the next step.
Sounds logical.
We're looking at a couple of very good locations that hopefully one of the two could work. We're looking at Valencia and Malaga as the next steps.
Okay.
And we have the rights also to go into Portugal.
Okay.
So in the next 2 years, we need to have a flagship theater in these 5 cities,
Amazing.
which could give us a good start. So the dynamic of the business is going to change dramatically very, very quickly. And it could. It's just a matter of replicating what we learned here in one city, then 202, then into 3. And that's part of the
So you're going to have
challenge that we
you're going to have a big old group of people once you've achieved all that
Yes.
and running into many hundreds. And, that's going to be an interesting leadership and management challenge, you and your team. But what if you were to try to describe the culture or that you want to create? I mean, this is really your baby, right? And I appreciate that it's a joint venture and it's a brand that's established, but I have a feeling that Manuel is going to be putting something of himself into it. So if you were to think about yourself, your own leadership philosophy, what you really believe in, what makes you think that something is worth doing, the kind of culture you would like to build, can you describe that?
Yes. I'm a complete believer of the power of a strong culture. I think you alluded to that. That culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? It's a well-known
Pizza drop.
phrase. Exactly.
Not my original quote. I wish.
I know. I wish. You wish. But definitely, it's something that I'm a strong believer. Just by living in strong cultures like P&G or Jan brands, and being infected, I would even say, infected by strong cultures. I see the power of that, and definitely something that we've established it as something to even start with. So it comes back to having a clear purpose first. I'm a big believer that work dignifies people and brings the best out of people, or the worst, but you need to set yourself to bring the best out of people and touch people's lives, which is something that I believe in and myself. Every opportunity is an opportunity to touch people's lives and just bring love to them and make them grow. And actually, that's my LinkedIn. It's loving people through food.
Right.
That's what this brand is about as well. This brand is about, you bring a box of Krispy Kreme, people just smile.
Yeah.
It's an easy one.
Yeah.
It's an easy one to just bring a little. It's a very positive experience. So that those emotions comes to life in this brand, which resonates with something I believe in, even if it was KFC or Sauna.
Do you think it attracts a certain type? Just thinking literally alive of what you're saying, that the type of people that apply to come and work for Krispy Kreme.
Hopefully,
just guessing that they're the kind of people who might have a bit of a smile on their face already.
if we do the work right, that would do. That should happen without me having to say it.
Okay.
That should be happening on its own. That's my ambition. I wouldn't say that's happening all the time. Of course, a culture it's built, and I use a metaphor. Actually, I was this weekend in Ávila. It's a city that I love, and for those that haven't been in Ávila, it has the record Guinness of the best well-kept medieval wall in the world. It's spectacular. And I've been using Ávila as a metaphor of a strong culture for almost a decade.
Okay.
Because that's what a culture is. A culture defines your boundaries, defines your gates, defines what comes in and what shouldn't come in.
Right.
If it is well kept, well maintained, it sustains. It protects what's happening. It's not a Berlin Wall.
Right.
Because I had to clarify.
It's not impenetrable.
It's not an impenetrable wall. It's not a Berlin Wall. It's not the North-South Korea wall.
And if you need to get out, picking up on your metaphor, which I love, if you need to get out, you can.
Yes.
So if you need to go out through the gate for some reason, which might be a good reason, an opportunity.
Exactly.
Or it might be just because you don't fit. Then
it's not to segregate.
No.
It's to define a city. So Ávila does that very well. This is the border of the city, and we protect what is inside. So I use that analogy as a culture. It's that. So I've been in the company that we started with KFC, and we're passing those values into Krispy Kreme as well, because they align. So we said we're putting these 4 pillars,
Okay.
like signposts, and those corners of the wall that protects the city. 4 core values that are very easy to explain from an entry level employee all the way to myself and my leadership team,
Right.
which is integrity,
Yeah.
determination, positivity,
Mm-hmm.
and generosity.
Okay.
You
Nice.
get them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it Krispy Kreme? Absolutely. It matches what the brand is about. It matches that it differentiates, because just integrity, not everybody understands what integrity is about.
Yeah.
I found it quite baffling that when you talk to people, sometimes you ask them, it works better in Spanish, but when you ask them, what do you understand by integrity? ¿Qué entiendes por integridad? People think that it's about being integrated into a team.
Ah, interesting.
It's like, that has nothing to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
People understand, I can be honest, but integrity is another different thing. I'm honest. But do I need to have integrity in every aspect of my life?
Right.
Not everybody gets it. And it's challenged just to say, we're going to measure ourselves against integrity in a culture. I come from Mexico. I know. I know that there are a lot of ways to do shortcuts and finding ways around. It has to do with Latin culture, unfortunately, in one aspects. Not saying that in other cultures that doesn't have that happen that as well, but yes, there's a way to find shortcuts, and as long as I do it for the right purpose,
Right.
or I do it to protect someone else, I can excuse myself and not telling the truth. So actually, we use that as a trick question in interviews. Tell me an instance where you had to tell a lie to protect somebody.
It's a good question.
It shows sometimes, because some people justify it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes, of course. Like some people would go and immediately come to an answer like, well, yes, because I had to protect this person so I had to tell a lie because I was protecting somebody else.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Right.
That's because it creates a culture of lies. And that's that when you go down that path, then the intentions disguise themselves, and then integrity just becomes nothing. So that one, for example, it's one. The other one,
Fundamental.
it's fundamental. So it's a cornerstone of that wall. The other one, is positivity.
Yeah.
Things doesn't go as you plan.
Yeah.
Never, almost never happens as you
And
plan.
that positive mindset of okay, that didn't work, but we can make it work.
Exactly, and it's not naive positivity.
No, it's not a hubris or unrestrained optimism, which doesn't help anybody.
Exactly.
On positive realism, that's what we need.
Positive realism.
And you and I were chatting earlier about this idea, which I like, which is I say that companies shouldn't be families, and that there's a temptation when you're trying to build a group of people to kind of say, oh, we're like a family, we're a big family. But I think you're in agreement with me that actually doesn't work too well.
No. Well, I absolutely agree. It's a challenge, because a lot of people think that.
Right.
And do people say, oh, I love my work because we are like a family?
But to be honest, it's very often the boss who encourages that. Because for the boss, the idea that everybody's a family is, I'm apologies to all those bosses out there who do this, but I think it's lazy, because what they're doing is they're picking the bits of the family that they like without the bits of the family that they don't appreciate, but they just think are irrelevant. Because families are tied together forever. And often in companies, that isn't really the case.
I've seen it in both levels, because I do see it as from top level down, and I'll talk about the challenge that myself particular have on that aspect. You know what I'm talking about. But I do hear it, for example, in a restaurant.
Right.
one of the reasons that people enjoy and they go to a restaurant and they like working with a team or a store because they like el buen rollo that it's and sometimes they play it back as like, oh, we're like a family.
Right.
And it is true when everything goes well and they appreciate it. And people here in Spain, it's massive the power that it has, that the culture and the atmosphere and how they can endure a bad boss, actually.
Yeah.
If they had stronger relationships among their peers, sometimes they had to endure a bad boss and then we had to remove it and bring back another one. But because the culture of this team was very strong and positive.
Yeah.
And they did because we are like a family. And we kept saying, well, to your point, no, it's not a family. It's a team.
Yeah.
And it's a team that you cultivate, you choose the right talent, and you can get someone out of the equation.
Because I think also that there's a lot of choice involved in teams and business. You choose to be in the team, and you don't choose to be in the family. And personally, I think a very, very important word is resilience. Right? And so you're talking about the team being resilient in the face of certain issues. And sure, you can feel like we're a family, we're very resilient in a situation. But families, when they face up to some really horrible thing that happens, they have resilience driven by the fact that they're a family because they don't have any choice.
Exactly.
Because they love each other and they're stuck together, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you've always got the option in a work environment to walk away or make a different decision or to make a choice. And I just think that the danger of the family idea, to your point, is when things do start to go a little bit wrong, there can be a feeling like, oh, I've been let down by the family. I thought they loved me, and now they don't want me to work here anymore, or the shop is going to close. And this can be very bad for people. They can have a very bad experience with
Yeah. No, and this brings me to the challenge that we have, because although, yes, I started the project 9 years ago with me and two friends. And their spouses and myself. My wife happens to work with me, and you know her, or you know Paola.
she's got plenty of resilience.
Oh, massive! They're the first to endure me. That's they're a part of the group. But it's not our family business.
Right.
We're shareholders with other investors. We have corporate investors as well. So it's not only us.
Yeah.
If it was us, yes, then probably the family business, and yes, we're a part of family because you get a protective spirit of it. And it's complicated. And I've taken some courses about family businesses and all that, which has its own challenges. Yeah. A family business.
And it's understandable if you have a family business, you want to pass it on to your daughter or whatever it is.
Exactly. So that's part of the challenges. And of course, that's part of the conversation and things that we need to start talking about it. And do we want to do that or not? What happens if we do? What happens if we don't? What's the path on each way? And talk it early days, so there's no surprise for anyone. So one of the things that we decided to do, since we have my partner, my co-founder of Charities Investment, which is the name of the company that started KFC, or in Krispy Kreme, we're running together on this project, was that I don't want to be the one making a call whether Paola continues in the company or not.
Right.
So she reports to him.
Okay.
So the tough conversations, and I have little say or no say because it's a conflict of interest that it's real. It's there, it's written and understand. Like, we need to understand that if I have an opinion on something that happens with Paola, she's she's managing all the HR area. If there are issues with her performance, it's Eric, the one that needs to make the call, partner. So he's the one that needs to get involved, give her feedback and coaching and all that, because...
So you're looking for ways to avoid going down that route.
Exactly, which is easy.
The family kind of like traps that you might fall into. Although, can I just say that if anything does ever happen with Paola, you're welcome to come and stay with me for a week or so. I have a feeling it's not going to be that easy.
You would. I probably would take your invitation if that ever happens. But it's something that we talk about. That it's something that we do take it seriously. It's not easy. I won't be naive to say, oh, this is working brilliantly. There has never been an issue.
Yeah.
No, it has its challenges. Of course, her giving me feedback or myself giving her feedback probably means that the night is not going to go well because we may not agree on the way that we're looking at an issue.
I think you're very wise to be looking for those things, actively looking in advance, not just with the hubris of, oh, it's all going to be great, because that's something very much in my coaching work, that people have a plan, they want to make a change, and we always discuss, well, what's going to stop it from happening? What's going to be the obstacle that turns out to be the critical obstacle that stops it from happening? And it very often are things that you don't really want to think about, but you sort of know they could really get in the way of success.
Yep.
So yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
Sounds very smart.
so it's interesting because we are a family,
yeah.
but we need to manage it as if it was not. If it was if we were the only shareholders of the business, you can argue that it could be easier. But we decided not to, because at the end, if you go, I'm very clear. If we were on our own doing what we did in the first 9 years, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
We needed partners to shoulder the challenges that we went through. So this reassures me of saying, people ask me like, Manuel, why do you have partners? You could do this on your own. Like, oh, absolutely not. I am so thankful for the partners that I have, because they have trusted us in the good and mainly through the bad times.
Yep.
So if it was not because of them, I definitely wouldn't be here.
So I'm hearing, you need a great product.
Yep.
You need a great team and great partners to be successful, and
A great culture.
you need a great culture, and to build one and to really nurture that and to really look after it and be intentional about it. Okay, well, I like that. So we've been talking for a while. I try to keep these conversations to a lunch break. I think we might have gone over a little bit, but that's because it's been so interesting. So maybe we'll just end by asking you that question. You've outlined those 3 areas that are so important, but imagine someone's listening to this, somebody who looks at you and says, oh, that's what I want to do. I'd like to get involved with a franchise. I'd like to open up a brand like that. Is there any particular thing that you've learned along the way that you would say to that person? One particular kind of nugget that you would like to end with?
I think we did talk about it. You alluded about that. The power of a brand.
Mm-hmm.
Brands outlast people. That's a reality. Companies, cultures, brands, what they stand for, they outlast people. And I think that's very meaningful, and I find it very inspirational.
Yes.
That you can create or build an existing brand and take it to a different level, and you can be part of that journey. So either you want to start your own brand, which is great. There are great brands that have been created here in Spain or from scratch. People from very diverse backgrounds. Or taking a brand like Krispy Kreme, which is older than McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah, it's from like
1937.
Wow.
McDonald's was founded in 1940. So 3 years before McDonald's, Krispy Kreme has already been doing business. So either you want to go either path, the power of the brand and the responsibility that comes with a brand, you should protect it.
You've got to keep putting, taking another metaphor, but you've got to keep putting logs on the fire of the brand, right?
Absolutely.
I can't remember the exact details, but I remember reading sometime about the brands that before the Second World War were really, really important brands. And then some of them kind of went into a bit of hibernation because it was wartime and whatever. And others kept on being very active and advertising, and all those brands made it through the war and out the other side. And the other ones kind of disappeared because...
Well, some brands actually became suppliers of them
Right.
without saying something.
Well, maybe it might have helped.
Yeah, so we found a pivot
Yeah.
into supplying into the war. But all seen brands that die,
Yeah.
that shut down business. Phenomenal brands that just lost their path somewhere, lost their edge, lost their competitiveness. This very famous BlackBerry. Who remembers
Yep.
BlackBerry? Right? And
Which I think, just to round up this conversation, which by the way I've thoroughly enjoyed, thank you very much, that this idea, you need a great team, you need a great culture, you need a great product, and all of that, you also need a great brand. And so you gave the example of BlackBerry, and not want to pick on them, but it's like that was a great brand, but the product, started to slip, right? Or got overtaken by somebody else. We can think of probably other examples where the team, bad things happen in the team, or the culture started to be left behind. You really we can't allow any of these four things to
No.
begin to slip and on the other. And for example, the brand is also in the eye of the beholder. It's in the eye of your customer who walks through the door. So if they come through the door and it looks a bit messy and a bit kind of disappointing, a bit grubby, and maybe the presentation, not what they expect, very quickly, people aren't going to come through your door, even if you've got a great culture, even if actually you've got a great team and the product's actually still good, but somehow the brand is slipping. So it's there's no shortage of challenges there.
I think of the brand as the wrapping of everything.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's the universe where all these three elements, the team, the culture, the product, live inside what the brand is. Because the brand goes beyond outside and goes inside as well.
Yeah.
So I do see living in a country in two companies having worked with P&G has phenomenal brands.
Yeah.
Very, very strong brands. But it has created its own brand.
Yeah.
Being P&G.
Yeah, with inside, absolutely.
It's a brand on its own.
And brands start from inside.
Exactly.
No
So
question.
it has its own culture. Now, in the other side, Yum, yes, these massive, powerful brands, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, KFC, each one with its own challenges. It has changed hands.
Yeah.
It was Pepsi owned,
Yeah.
then became public, has changed strategies, changed the boards, and changed directions. But at the end, are these brands where everything lives inside each one of them.
And brands can evolve.
And brands can
Yeah,
evolve.
they can start to mean different things to different people.
Yeah, so I believe that if I had to summarize it, everything it's about the brand, the icon, and what is it that you want to build, and how do you evolve them, and you put everything together, and you keep on protecting it.
Yeah. All right, fantastic. So, Manuel, I think we're going to draw it to a close there. Thank you very much.
I greatly appreciate it.
Maybe we can agree that I'm going to come to Lisbon and I'm going to have another interview with you in
That would
Lisbon.
be amazing.
When
Yes,
you
let's
when you
put it
open
there. Yep, there we
Krispy
go.
Kreme in
It's-
Portugal.
It now is recorded and it will be set in stone.
But I will want a Krispy Kreme if I come all that way.
Well, I can
Portuguese
give you one, and you'll try, and we'll see if you can remember the taste of the one in Parque Sur and the one in
I'm
Lisbon.
sure it'll be
They're
just as equally delicious.
and that we hope for.
Okay.
We go for.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Really
Brilliant.
appreciate it.
Brilliant.
Really enjoyed it.